Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Israelite Advanced Bible Study, Tuesday night, the 25th of June, 2024. Okay, we decided to go with dealing with the Book of Tobit, and my objective is to show that through reading the Book of Tobit, tying into the 10 tribes of Israel and where they went, and it's also showing you that they not they was never was lost. That's a concoction that came up with these Edomites and these Jews that brought about that confusion. The 10 tribes was never lost. Okay, so you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and gain information from. Okay, you can go to these videos will lead. Get it. These videos will connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay, in our hours of operation, the days that we are on live is Tuesday nights, 7 to 9, Wednesday nights, 7 to 9, and Friday night we have our, Thursday night we have our Women's Advanced Bible Study. The men can come in through YouTube and check it out. It's also 7 to 9. Then we have our Men's Advanced Bible Study Friday nights, and it's on Clubhouse. And the room on Clubhouse is Non-Messianic Conversations. That's also from 7 to 9 Central Time, p.m. And then when we come back and we have two Shabbat classes, one in the morning from 10 to 12 p.m. Central Time. Then we close the Shabbat out from 6 to 7 p.m. That's every Saturday, every Shabbat. We have two classes. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic conversation. This is a non-Messianic channel, and we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, to inform him on all of that transpired on the earth from the time of Adam up until the time that he was born. Okay, he appeared in Egypt. So with that being said, shalom and welcome to the channel. We're gonna welcome to our Israelite Advanced Bible Study. We're gonna do our normal, which is a moment of silence. We'll do a prayer, and I got a current event because I want to shorten that, because I want to deal with, try to at least get halfway through with this Book of Tobit, and then I can do part 2 for our reading through the Tanakh tomorrow night, close to connect those dots. Okay, then we have we'll open up for some questions or comments, Q&A, and then we go into our topic, like I said, which is Tobit, Nineveh, and the 10 tribes. Okay, I'm going to read and break that down and connect some dots. Okay, with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts, and all of these doing is bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. But Lord, we come before thee at this time. We are thankful for the knowledge and the understanding that you have given us up until this point. We seek thy face this day, that you shower us with peace and enlightenment and a sense of togetherness. Oh Lord, we see thy hand in the affairs of the world, and we know and understand that what you have spoken in the past will surely come to pass. Turn out thy face from us, but hearken unto this plea. Hearken, O Lord, and do. All praises unto you. Okay, so with that, we'll go to a current event. Okay, You can get it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was a video that came out from a Latino man here in Texas. He's in a border town, and he's sending a warning to Black Americans about Joe Biden, and he's warning about something he said a while ago and some other information that he has because he has family that work in Border Patrol. Let's go ahead and look at it.
Black Americans of Chicago, this is directed at you. In a speech Biden made a while back, he said that the majority in America soon will be Latino. He didn't say black. He didn't say Asian or white or anything. He said Latino. That's why millions and millions of lighter-skinned Latino illegal aliens are being allowed in, and many of them are being sent to Black communities so they can slowly start to replace y'all. You need to wake up, man. I'm from Texas. I'm from a border town. I have relatives who are Border Patrol and who are in law enforcement. They were being given $5,000 upon entry into this country. And as soon as they got to their destination and settled in, they were being given $1,200 a month to $1,400 a month, plus free food stamps, free housing, free medical, free dental, and they even get free college. You can research it. They get free college, illegal aliens, but you get nothing. You get nothing. You need to wake up, man. Stop voting for the Democrats. In some cases, it's already too late. I'm good. I'm Latino, man. I don't have to worry about being replaced. I'm Latino. But you have to wake up. In some cases, it's already too late. Millions of these people will never leave, okay? They will never leave, and the Democrats don't need your vote anymore. They don't need your vote anymore, man. They used you for your vote, and they already got millions of new voters, man, and they don't need you anymore. And I'm telling you, man, you better wake up. You better stop voting Democrat. You better wake up. Latinos for Trump, 2024.
So as you heard on this video, this man is warning Black Americans, especially a lot of Black Americans in Chicago. And you know, a lot of Black Americans in Chicago has had a lot of issues and problems with Mayor Brandon Johnson just giving all of their resources to a lot of these migrants that come in from Latin America. He specifically pointed out, he said light-skinned Latin American people, light-skinned Latinos. Because we know in Latin America, that's people that look like me. And if you Black, look like you in Latin America. And I've been saying that. Have you noticed only these lighter skinned, close to white ones are coming over? Where's all the Black people? There's a lot of Black people in Latin America. And you mean to tell me the Black people aren't coming up here? Only them? That's done by design. Because, you know, Biden, we all know Biden's a racist. We know that. Look at what happened when the Haitians tried to come up here. Biden said, get your behind right on out of here and get back to Port-au-Prince. You're not coming in here. You Black Latinos, you're not coming in here. We only want the ones, like this man said, the lighter skinned Latinos. That's the ones we want here. And he said, they papering them up. They giving them resources out of our tax dollars. Out of our tax dollars. Now, the Democrat Party, what they're banking on is what this man said, importing millions upon millions of millions of people and stacking them on top of us in the inner cities and turning them into voters. Now, when it comes to Latinos, they don't believe in flat Hispanicness. They don't believe in that. They delineate. Mexicans don't like to be called Puerto Ricans. That's delineation. Puerto Ricans don't want to be called Colombians. That's delineation. They all delineate. They're not around each other like that. They say they separate people, separate countries, separate culture. No different than how we're delineating. So when you see this man talking like this, you would think, well, why would he say this to Black Americans? It benefits him, all these people coming in. Actually, it don't. Because 9 times out of 10, if he lives in a border town, he's Mexican. There's a lot of Mexicans that's been here in Texas who are citizens who do not want all those Colombians and Ecuadorians and Guatemalans and El Salvadorians and all these different people coming from Latin America. They don't want them to come here. Because some of them say, well, you know what? We didn't get them kind of resources when we first came over here. We had to work. We had to get it out the mud. When Biden get in office, he literally handed them cell phones, money. They go into cities. They've been handed. Look, you remember Brandon Johnson was talking about he was going to pay the rent for these migrants for 6 months? But you got Black Americans on the streets of Chicago? Like that is an outrage. And you wonder why a lot of black Americans in Chicago say, hey man, where Trump at? And it's not that they like Republicans like that. That's what some of you people don't understand. It's not that they like the Republican Party. They're talking about Trump himself, his policy, not all the Republican Party. Now you got somebody say, you know what, I'm gonna vote Republican now, right? But it's more so because of Trump's policy. If you live in Chicago and this man's telling you, because he's on a border town, we know Greg Abbott is shipping them everywhere because he don't want them here. They in Chicago getting all your resources. But when you talk about you need reparations, when you need help for rent, when you got brothers and sisters homeless on the streets, right now in Chicago, okay, it's warm. But when it gets cold again, it won't take that long for it to get cold again in Chicago. But shout out to Chicago. I love Chicago. And my brothers and sisters out there, I got to get back to Chicago and do another series of interviews with some brothers and sisters out there. But when you get, when our brothers and sisters are in the cold weather in Chicago, they was on the streets while the migrants was in shelter. That's the stuff we're talking about. And Biden did say that basically they bringing them in and there's going to be more of them than us. He did say that. He's not lying. And he said to the civil rights bootlicks, you will have to start working with them because there's more of them than y'all. But it's not natural. You're flooding the zone with them. And that's not going to end well because this is the thing. What you Democrats understand about the Latino community, and I'm going to say all of them, they don't support Democrat policies for the most part due to their religion. The majority of Latinos are Catholic. Y'all pushing LGBT and abortion, most Catholics are not down for that. I'm talking about devout Catholics in Latin America. They're not down for that. If somebody is LGBT, they got to keep that to themselves. But the national religion in Latin America is Catholic. And these, you have some Latinos that vote Democrat, and let's say these new ones would vote just to get citizenship or something, right? But the moment they get in good in this country, guess who they voting for? Republicans. Africans, they vote Republicans. Why? Because in their countries, they have more of a conservative lifestyle. In America, we have Babylon. And that is totally against what a lot of Latinos are used to living in their homeland. You understand what I'm saying? So this man is saying, Black America, wake up. Because we've been saying it. But like some people are saying about this video, well, y'all listen now that this Latino man is telling you to wake your behind up? Will some of you listen now when he's telling you that he's from a border town? And those border towns in Texas are like little Mexico, literally. He's telling you what's going on. Will you get it? Or you still going to follow the silliness? Are you going to still follow that? Or are you still worried about if Republicans are paying me or not? Are you worried about that? And I had somebody recently write me about that. And I say, yeah, if you say that to me, I'm going to block you because you're lying. And I don't play with people lying on me. You can disagree with me, but don't lie on me, okay? So if you say that crap in my comment section, I catch you, I'm blocking you. Because we gotta act like some adults here. Just be adults. We can disagree, but be adults, don't lie. This man say Latinos for Trump. There'll be a lot of Latinos voting for Trump in 2024. Because a lot of Latinos don't like where the country going either. Black America, we gotta stop playing games, man. I told y'all, in 2024, you gotta make a decision. Now I know as of right now, a lot of Black Americans are gonna choose the couch. I understand that. Some Black Americans gonna vote for Trump. And unfortunately, some Black Americans are gonna vote for Biden. Unfortunately. But I believe the couch will be the winner of the 2024 election, at least with the Black community. But if you're in Chicago, you're probably going to vote more Trump because you don't want migrants being stacked on you another 4 years. See, some of you that defending Biden, they haven't put no migrants on your city. Every city that migrants have been put in, most of the people saying they don't want it there. Even Democrat cities like New York City, they don't want them there. Those people, and they bleeding heart liberals. They don't want them there because they're taking resources that belong to the citizens of New York. And these dudes out here committing crimes. On top of that, I've been saying, you cannot have a bunch of men, young men, walking around with nothing to do. That is a recipe for disaster. Period. If you're going to have these men around, you better put them behind to work 12 hours a day. That way they get off, they tired, they just want to shower, food, and go to sleep. So they can get back, they behind right back up and go work again. That's what you have. That's what you got to do with young men. You can't give them a bunch of free time to roam around. Yeah, they're going to get involved in criminality. Of course, they ain't got nothing to do. It's like they said, the idle mind's a devil's playground. And that's been a problem. Y'all got to be military-age males running around in the cities and not even working. Yet Black Americans saying, hey, where's our reparations? Hey, we ain't got it. We ain't got it. We can't do that. It's politically impossible. But it was politically impossible to import 7 million people in this country? People. Not giving checks. People. That's not politically impossible. That's why anybody in their right mind in the Black community, I'm going to say, voting for Biden, you silly. And you'll sell out at this point.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Shalom, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I had to look that up concerning the funding for college, right? Because I
Okay.
have never heard of that. So first, I just want to read a little bit of that. It says in-state tuition and state financial aid. Undocumented students are eligible for in-state tuition and state financial aid in 17 states and DC if they meet certain requirements. An additional 4 states provide undocumented students with access to in-state tuition, but not state financial aid. So we are citizens here having to pay back. We don't get free things like that. Like I said, we can stand in line all day long, and if you don't have the right documents, if you can't prove your address, if you don't have an ID, you cannot get any assistance. So we got to look at all the reasons why they are putting their lives at risk to come over here in the United States. They are being totally taken care of. And if they stop giving them so much money, maybe they can give us a little something and pay us some reparation.
Okay. Yeah. Like when me looking at that, I think you can see that. Like I say, everything they're doing is cause and effect. They got something playing. The reason they're doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Shalom.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Um, I've been seeing advertising on the television and on YouTube about them. Get your $5,500 check or get your $6,100 check. You'll get it your card, and you'll get it every month. You don't have to pay it back. And they're showing them going into the groceries, buying this, buying that. They said it's not a scam. You can get it. And I'm like, it is a scam to me. Why are they giving it to everybody? But they specifically say if you're not on Medicaid or if you're not on Medicaid, you can get it. This check they're advertising, well, not check, but this card they're advertising takes 3 minutes to do it. You get it. You'll get it for the rest of your life. You get the $6,100 or the $5,500, depending on the state you're living in. And I'm like, is that something that they're doing? This is 3 questions you ask, and that's part of giving the immigrants some kind of card to have to buy things and pay their rent, or they trying to get something behind that. If you sign up for it, then you're obligated to do something for. And they don't say it's the government, but they say the government doesn't want you to know. If anyone seen those advertisements on television or the YouTube channels.
Right. Yeah. It seems like to me, from my understanding of that, is it's tied to the internet some kind of way. It's some kind of scam they got going on that, and it's part of it is through the internet. I think it's like getting people to click on something or getting people to get certain, drawing people to get a certain amount of views from something because it ain't, it's not, it ain't legitimate. Everybody seems like everybody and their mama or every other video telling you to click on this and you can get $1,500, $6,500, whatever. So I think it's tied to the internet some kind of way, some kind of scam going on with that. That's the way I see it.
Yes, sir. Me too.
Right. Okay. So with that being said, I'm opening it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions about anything they've been dealing with, come across while they were searching out the internet? Something they heard on Prophets of Awakening, they want some clarity before we go into our reading out of the book of Tobit.
No, sir.
Anybody else? Okay, yeah. So like I was saying, we had somebody on there earlier who was saying that the Tobit is pseudepigrapher. And I said that a long time ago, but when you understand what has happened, just like the Israelites were scattered, our Redeemer, the host told us that he was going to scatter us. Not only did he said he's going to trample Israel, the culture of Israel and the people, everything underfoot until the time of the end. So not only did we get scattered as a people, our books got scattered. We had countless of books all over. We had all kind of books. When Antiochus, the Greeks came in and overcame Israel during the time of the Greeks, our books were scattered too. And then they was copying it, plagiarizing them, and they was using our forefathers' names and adding paganism and all that to the scriptures, tying it all up together. You have to have you have to be in a certain place and taking like a Hebrew in order to rightly value a lot of what they have done, because it's meat all over the place. So it's already understood that it's pseudepigrapher. That don't mean that you can't deal with it and break it down and get the meat out of it. Just like the New Testament. If you bent on pseudepigrapher, then you should throw the New Testament away, because that's all lies. Okay, so yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to go on. Somebody have something?
Yeah, Salome. So, is it true that they still have like the originals somewhere um, at the Vatican, and they know exactly what is really the prophecy before they tampered with it? They still have those books, the ones that they said that was buried, or the scrolls, the ones that they said it was put into the sea. They were saying that, you know, they threw books into the sea, they burnt books, but they have the original of some of the scrolls and some of the books that were printed for them to take a look at it. Like I don't know how many of those scholars were looking at the book so they can translate it into from Hebrew into, or from the Greek into the English language by their doing the translation. Those books that they had, they still have those, correct or not?
But right, they have this in the Vatican. I mean, if you get the opportunity, watch. Okay, I was trying to think of the name of the movie, National Treasure, with Nicolas Cage in it. Check that out. So it's got a lot of information in it, telling you what's the deal with it, what happened. So not only do they have all our information in our books, our forefathers, they have a lot of other stuff, books and information that they did, because they lied and turned history upside down. Not only how they turned the history of the Israelites and Jerusalem and all that upside down, it's the history of the world. And turned upside down. They even, I mean, something as simple as Egypt. The people they trying to tell you it is the Egyptians over there today are not the Egyptians. Egyptians ain't look like that. So they got this lies. They told all kind of lies, and all that information is in the Vatican. From doing my research, one of the things was that it's like I think what layers or levels. I think 8 or 9 levels under the Vatican, and not only that, it's like if I'm not mistaken, 10 miles, 5 miles long. You got chambers and all that under this, city affiliated with the Vatican, where all this stuff is at, and they got it where it's where they in like pressurized chambers where the stuff can't deteriorate or decay or whatever, but it's being preserved, and they know exactly everything that can happen. They know exactly what prophecies it is and all that. So yeah, I mean, you just can Google the Vatican archives, and you get all kind of information.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, we'll go to for the people that have it. We're going to the Apocrypha and going to the Book of Tobit. And we're gonna start reading, and as we read, one of my objective is because I'm actually tired of hearing it, is they keep saying the 10 lost tribes, and then people saying that they was over here and all that. So when we're gonna read this Book of Tobit, and you're gonna see how they know exactly where the 10 tribes is. It was a concoction when them saying they lost. Like I said, it favors, by saying the 10 lost tribes, it favors those people that's over there right now that's posing as Israelites. By them saying that the 10 lost tribe are lost, it plays right in with what they've done, the lies they told. So we're going to go in the Book of Tobit. You want to start reading, Michelle, or what?
Yes, sir, I can. Shalom, everyone. The Book of Tobit. The story of Tobit, the son of Tubal, the son of Ananel, the son of Aduel, the son of Gabel, the stock of Aziel, the tribe of Naphtali, who in the days of Shalmaneser, king of
Right.
Assyria, was carried into captivity from Thesbe, which is the south of Kadesh, Naphtali and Galilee above Asher. I
Okay,
Tobit.
hold on right there. Let's deal with that right quick. So we say that during the time of Chalamaster, so that part is in the scriptures. It's in 2 Kings. Let's go there right quick. So we're gonna rightly divide this, so anybody that comes over here on Prophet Awakening and see this video get the proper understanding. So we go to First Kings, I think it is. I keep on getting these mixed up, but yeah, 2 Kings, chapter 17. 2 Kings chapter 17, and what he's talking about is when the king of Assyria came. You can pick it up and it had been prophesied by Hosea that he was the king of Assyria was going to come and remove the Israelites, the 10 tribes, out of his sight because of what they was doing. They had made golden calves, and they worshiping these golden calves. They had returned to the ideology that they had got out of Egypt. Because if you remember, that's where Jeroboam had went. When Jeroboam was running from Solomon, to get away from Solomon, he fled to Egypt. And then when it was time for the 10 tribes for the most Lord of hosts to separate the 10 tribes from the southern kingdom, he sent for Jerubbaal. and he came back, and he was given the 10 tribes, but he didn't do right by them. He led them into idolatry with all the pagan that stuff he had got out of Egypt. So we'll pick it up in verse 20, 2 Kings 17 and 20. The Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, that's the 10 tribes, and afflicted them, delivered them into the hands of the spoilers, the Assyrians, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, king. And Jeroboam, here you go, Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord and made them sin, a great sin. So he gave them these calves and all this ideology out of Egypt. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and they departed not from him. And 23, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria to this day. So what she just read was right here. That's what we're talking about. So you can pick it back up.
Yes, sir. That's verse 3. I, Tobit, walked all the days of my life in ways of truth and uprightness. I did many acts of charity for my brothers and my nation who were taken to the land of the Assyrians, to Nineveh with me. And when I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, when I was young, the whole tribe of my forefather Naphtali revolted from the house in Jerusalem, which had been chosen from all the tribes of Israel, for all the tribes to offer sacrifice in, and in which the temple of the dwelling of the Most High had been dedicated and built for all ages. So all the tribes which had revolted with it would offer sacrifice to the heifer Baal. But I alone went many a time to Jerusalem for the festivals, as the scripture commands all Israel in an everlasting decree, taking with me the first fruits and the 10th parts of my crops and my first shearings, and I would give them to the priests, the sons of Aaron. And at the altar, a 10th part of all my produce I would give to the son of Levi, who officiated at Jerusalem, and another tenth I would sell and go and spend the proceeds in Jerusalem. Each year, and a third tenth I would give to those to whom it was fitting to give it, as Deborah, my grandmother, had instructed me. For I was left an orphan by my father. When I
Okay.
became a
Hold on 1 minute. So, like, as we go, you're gonna see that in this book of Tobit, a lot of our culture is being exposed. We're just not being exposed. There's not being the light not being shined on in the King James, but in this book right here, you see a lot of it being exposed. So one thing I want to shine a light on, because the title of this lesson is Tobit, Nineveh, and the 10 tribes, right? So we notice in verse 3, it says, I, Tobit, walked all the days of my life in the ways of truth and uprightness, and I did many acts of charity for my brothers and my nation who were taken to the land of Assyria, to Nineveh. So Nineveh is tied to the 10 tribes, it's tied to Assyria. It's in the land, it's the capital city of Assyria. So that takes you to Jonah. That's what Jonah was sent to. So Jonah ain't got shit to do with Galilee and Jesus. No, Jonah is sent, so he can't be no sign of Jonah. Can't be tied to no Jesus. Jonah is being sent to Nineveh where the 10 tribes at. Okay, and then like I said, the rest of what she read was telling you how how our culture was. They don't tell you that people was traveling from Assyria back to Jerusalem just to keep the feast days. They don't, none of that understanding is in the New Testament, because they ain't concerned with it. The objective of the New Testament was to give you this God they gave you, which is JC. Okay.
Yes, sir. Verse 9. When I became a man, I married Hannah, who was of the stock of our family, and by her I had a son, Tobias. And when I was carried into captivity to Nineveh, all my brothers and relatives ate the food of the heathen, but I kept myself from eating it, because I remembered God with all my heart. And the Most High gave me favor and standing with Shalmaneser, and I became his buyer. I made a journey to Media and deposited 10 talents of silver with Gabal, the brother of Gabaris, and Regi in Media. But when Shalmaneser died, his son
Sennacherib.
Sennacherib
Right.
became king in his place, and the highways were unsafe, so that I could no longer travel to Media. In the times of Shalmaneser, I used to do many acts of charity for my brothers. I would give my bread to the hungry and my clothes to the naked. And if I saw one of my people dead and thrown outside the wall of Nineveh, I would bury him. And if Sennacherib the king killed anyone who had come as a fugitive from Judah, I buried them secretly, for he killed many in his anger, and their bodies were looked for by the king and could not be found. But one of the Ninevites went and informed the me that I was burying them, and I hid. And when I learned that I was being sought for to be put to death, I was frightened and escaped. Then all my property was seized, and nothing was left me but my wife Hannah and my son Tobias. Before 50 days had passed, his two sons killed him and fled into the mountains of Ararat, and uh, Saharadon, his son, became king in his place. He appointed Haquar, my son, my brother, Hananel's son, to have charge of all the accounting of his kingdom and all its administrations. And Haquar asked for me, and I went to Nineveh. Haquar was a cupbearer and keeper of the signet, and had charge of administration and of the accounts. Sharadon appointed him second to himself, and he was my nephew. When I reached my home and my wife Hannah was restored to me, and Tobias my son, at the harvest festival, which is the feast of the 7 weeks, a good dinner was prepared for me. And I sat down to eat, and I saw the abundance of food, and I said to my son, Go and bring any poor man of our brothers whom you can find and remembers the Lord, and I will wait for you. And he came back and said, Father, one of our race has been strangled and thrown out in the bazaar. Then, before I tasted anything, I rushed out and brought him into a room until the sunset. Then I returned and washed myself and ate my food in sadness. And I remembered the prophecy of Amos, as he said, Your
Okay, right
feast.
there. Hold up right there. So like I said, this thing is packed with a whole lot of information that they try to take out over there. But if you have enough understanding and enough testing fortitude to read some of these books, you understand how important they are. So we see right here from what he's describing us, what you was reading was uh, it's no different what happened over here. It ain't just started over here in America. The way they was doing us, hanging us by trees and leaving us hanging in the tree, killing us, like Leopold was doing in Africa, chopping our homes and feet off. The same thing they did in the plantation houses. When we would run, they chop our cookie kids their feet off. It ain't just started over here. They was doing it right here, way back in this time. So you got a lot of people that they want to try to dispute what's happening in when you tie Deuteronomy 28 to the people that came over in the transatlantic slave trade. Well, you take that same information and go back and pass. You see, they weren't doing this to the Jews that's over there now. They're doing the same thing they doing right here. They did in the transatlantic slave trade. He TOBIT is going around. He got to bury 10, 20 Israelites every day. They just been killed and throw them out on the side of the road or throw them over the wall. And he buried them because that was part of our custom. And one more thing, notice that this guy TOBIT's nephew was just like Joseph. And just like Nehemiah, he was second in charge. He was uh, uh, the king's cupbearer. Tobias, Tobit is the king's buyer. He the one go and buy all the. He go over all the groceries and the produce and all that, making sure that everything the king's uh, household is plenty plenteous with food and everything that they need. So you say, well, what are you talking about? Look at what the Israelite, look at what the Jew is doing and the Edomite doing today. You're always hearing uh, these Republicans talking about drain the swamp or the shadow government, right? So what is the shadow government? Second in charge. All these when you go do your research, all these cabinet members, they got an undersecretary. 9 times out of 10, it's an Edomite sitting there with dual citizenship. He back and forth in Jerusalem, over in Israel, and over here in America. That's a shadow government. So they ain't doing nothing no different than what the Creator did with the Israelites. They second in charge behind the scenes running everything. Okay, go ahead.
Your feast will be turned into sorrow, and all your good cheer into lamentation. And I wept aloud. And when the sun was set, I dug a grave, and I buried him. And my neighbors laughed at me and said, he is not yet afraid of being put to death for doing this. He ran away, and here he is burying the dead again. That same night, after I had buried him, I returned, and as I was ceremonially defiled, I lay down to sleep by the wall of the courtyard with my face uncovered. And I did not know that there were sparrows in the wall above me. And as my eyes were open, the sparrows' droppings fell into my eyes and produced white films on them. And I went to the physician, and they could not help me. But Haquar supported me for 2 years until he went to Elamaeus. Then my
Right.
wife Hannah found employment at Women's Work and sent the work back to its owners, and they paid her wages and gave her a kid besides. But when she came home to me, the kid began to bleat, and I said to her, "Where did this kid come from? Is it stolen? Give it back to its owner, for we have no right to eat anything that is stolen."
So this kid is a goat. So to keep down the confusion, not a kid like a child. She was given a goat for like for her payment. She's doing embroidery work and stuff like that for that was part of her, what she did to bring in extra income in the household. So she was given a goat for what she had done. Kid, all right?
But she said to me, "It was given me as a gift in addition to my wages." But I would not believe her and told her to give it back to its owners, and I blushed for her. Then she answered and said to me, "And where are your charities? Where is your uprightness? Of course you know everything." Then I was grieved and I prayed sorrowfully and said, "Lord, you are upright in all your doings, in all your ways are mercy and truth, and you always judge truly and justly. Remember me and look upon me. Do not take vengeance on me for my sins and my ignorant acts, and for those of my forefathers, which they committed in your sight, for they disobeyed your commands. You have given us up to pillage and captivity and death, and made us a proverb and a reproach among all the nations among whom we have been scattered. And now your judgments, which are many, are right in exacting from me for my sins and those of my forefathers, because we did not keep your commandments, for we have not walked uprightly before you. So now deal with me according to your pleasure. Command my spirit to be taken from me, so that I may be released and return to dust. For I die than live, because I have had to listen to false reproaches and have felt great sorrow. Command me to be released from this distress and taken to my everlasting place of abode. Do not turn your face away from me.
Okay, let's
On
look
the
at this. Look at what you just read. So it says that two things I want to deal with. Like I was saying, how they been tricked out understanding a lot of things. So charities, right? So what is charities? You go back up to verse uh, 66, and it says, Tobias is talking uh, to his wife. I think it said, uh, but I would not believe her, and told her to give, his wife, to give his kid back to its owner. And I blushed for her, and she answered and said unto me, and where are your charities? So she's talking to Tobiah, Tobit, where are your charities? Now look at this, check it out. Where's your charities? Where's your uprightness? Of course, you know everything. So charities is tied to uprightness. Righteousness is tied to charities. Now look at this. Then he turned, to the Lord in verse 66. Lord, you are upright. See that? So now, what do the Lord do? Continue to doing righteous things to us. Charities for the Israelites. Okay? So anyway, so then now I want to go down to, I told you about how they went back and they went over and over and over and over our scriptures. That's how we get the New Testament. That's how they concocted it. So right here we see, I told you it's more than one day of the Lord. It's how anytime Israel went into captivity and the Lord came and delivered them and punished the people that had them in captivity, that was the day of the Lord, that he came and delivered them. So right here, we see right here, and this what she just read. Let me get it. That we've been, it says, you have given us up to pillage and captivity and death, and made us a proverb and a reproach among all the nations, among whom you scattered. See that? So that ain't the scattered that today. This is when they was in Israel. I mean, in Assyria, they were scattered. This ain't the same scattered. But these Edomites playing on this. This ain't the same scattered. It's a whole different event. But like I said, the same way this went down, the same way it's gonna go down now. Okay, go ahead.
On that very day it happened to Sarah, the daughter of Raguel in Ecbatana in Media, that she too was reproached by her father's maids, because she had been married to 7 husbands, and the wicked demon Asmodeus um, had killed them before they had been with her, as is customary with wives. They said to her, do you not know that you strangle your husbands? You have already had 7, and you have not bore the name of one of them. Why do you torment us? If they are dead, go after them. May we never see son or daughter of yours. When she heard these things, she was deeply hurt and wished to hang herself. But she said, I am my father's only child. If I do this, it will disgrace him, and I will bring his old age down to the grave in sorrow. And she
Okay,
prayed.
well, let's look at this. Let's look at what you just read. There's a couple of things I want to deal with. So you see that when she says on the very day, on that very day, it happened that Sarah, the daughter of Ragu, in Ecbatana, in Media. So where's Media? Where's Media? The Medes and Persians. It's the Medes and Persians, right? But what I want, reason I'm showing you this other place, Ecbatana, that's all over there with Esther. That's where Esther and um, Mordecai. They just separated all this information. It's all the same thing. That's why they saying the 10 lost tribes. But when you understand what they did, ain't no 10 tribes lost. So this Ecbatana, you can go right to the book of Esther. This gonna come up in Media. That's the Medes and Persians. Okay. And then the other thing is I go there all the time in Genesis chapter 10 is a prince over Persia. What prince? A fallen angel over Persia, right? It's a fallen angel over Greece. And then when we got to chapter 11, we see Daniel chapter 10, verse 21, we see that Gabriel tells Daniel that Michael is the God, the prince that's over Israel. So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, she just mentioned this demon, right? So we know, ain't it 6 other angels with Michael? Michael is the God over Israel, but he also Gabriel, Raphael, and all of them is there with him, assisting him. So you don't think these other angels got uh, beings with them, assisting them over where they at? It ain't just that one demon or that one fallen angel that's over. He got a system that he's ruling over Greece. And the one that's over Persia, he got a system in place that's ruling over them. He got powers and principalities under him that's assisting him, just like Michael has powers and principalities with him. Okay, go ahead.
The book of Tobit, chapter 3, verse 11. And she prayed by her window and said, Blessed are you, O Lord my God, and blessed be your holy and honored name forever. May all your works bless you forever. And now, Lord, I turn my face and my eyes to you. Command me to be released from the earth and to hear reproach no more. You know, Lord, that I am innocent of any sin with man. I have never defiled my name or the name of my father in the land of my captivity. I am my father's only child. He has no other child to be his heir. He has no brother near him or nephew whom I should keep myself to marry. I have already lost 7 husbands. Why must I live any longer? And if it is not your pleasure to kill me, command that some regard be had for me and some pity be shown me, and I and and that I no more may have to listen to reproach. And they and the prayer of both of them was heard in the presence of the glory of the great Raphael. And he was sent to cure them both, for Tobit to remove the white films, and to give Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, to Tobit's son Tobias as his wife, and to bind Asmodeus, the wicked demon, because Tobias was entitled to possess her. So at the same time, Tobit went into his house, and Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, came down from her upstairs room. On that day, Tobit remembered the money that he had deposited with Gabal, deposited with Gabal in Ragi in Midia. And he said to himself, I have asked for death. Why should I not call my son Tobias to explain him before I die? So he called him and said, My boy, when I die, bury me, and do not neglect your mother. Provide for her as long as you live. Do what is pleasing to her, and do not grieve her in anything. Remember, my boy, that she faced many dangers for you before your birth. And when she dies, bury her beside me in one all your life, my boy. Remember the Lord, our God. Do not consent to sin and transgress his commands. Act uprightly all your life, and do not walk in the ways of wrongdoing. For
Okay,
if you
all of right there. So you read earlier that when she was praying that because of this demon was tormenting her, right? Was killing um killed seven men that she was supposed to marry to. So she said that. Let's look at that. I went over that. I read over that. She says that. Let me get it. Yeah, it says in this chapter 3, I think it's verse 11, and she prayed uh, by her window and said, "Bless you, O Lord God, and bless your holy and honored name." So right here, I'm shining a light on this because in this Old Testament, we keep seeing God is over Israel, continuously worrying about his name being defiled. Right? So look at this. It says, bless ye, O Lord my God, and blessed are your holy and honored name forever. Now check this out. May all your works bless you forever. And now, Lord, I turn my face and my eyes to you. Command me to be released from the earth and to hear and to hear reproach no more. You know, here you go, right here. You know, Lord, that I am innocent of any sin with man. Now watch this. I have never defiled my name. So you see, it's not a coincidence. The Lord of hosts worrying about his name being defiled. Well, you can be defiling your own name and sinning. That's a sin. So look at this. I have never defiled my name or the name of my father. So you sitting around worrying about if you defile the Most High name, and defiling your daddy's name, defiling your father's house's name. Okay, look at this. And it says, you know, Lord, that I am innocent of my sins, and I have never defiled my name or the name of my father in the land of my captivity. In the land of my captivity. See that? Okay. And then the other part I was going to read. Go ahead. I forgot it. Where you at?
Yes, sir. Chapter 4, verse 6.
Okay.
For if you do right, charity will attend undertakings. To all who act uprightly, give charity from your property, and do not let your eye begrudge what you give to charity. Do not turn your face away from any poor man, and God's face will not be turned away from you. Give to charity in proportion to what you have. If you have little, do not be afraid to give sparingly to charity, and then you will lay up a good treasure for yourself against a day of adversity. For charity will save you from death and keep you from going down into darkness. Charity is a good offering in the sight of the Most High for all who give. My boy, beware of any immorality. For first take a wife who is of the stock of your forefathers. Do not marry an alien who does not belong to your father's tribe. For we are the sons of the prophets. Remember, my boy, that Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers of old, all married wives from among their kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their posterity will possess the land. Now, my boy, love your kindred, and do not disdain your brothers and the sons and daughters of your people, and refuse to marry one of them. For such disdain leads to ruin, and great distress, and worthlessness brings loss and great want. For worthlessness is the mother of famine, the wages of any man who works for you. You retain overnight, but you must pay him immediately. If you serve God, you will be rewarded. Take care, my boy, in all that you do, and be well disciplined in all your conduct. Do not do to anyone else what you hate. Do not drink wine to the point of intoxication, drunkenness, but but sorry, must not go with you on your way. Give some of your bread to the hungry, and your clothes to the naked. Give all your surplus to charity, and do not let your eye begrudge what you give to charity. Scatter your bread on the graves of the upright, but do not give to sinners.
Okay, look
Accept.
at this. Let me deal with this. So it says, this day says, verses 4 and verse 12. My boy, beware of immorality. First, now look at this. So we doing this right here. First, take a wife who is of the stock of your forefathers. See that? Do not marry an alien. So right there, we all off way off track on that. Alien. And who does not belong to your father's tribe? For we are the sons of prophets. See that? Remember, my boy, that Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all our forefathers of old, all married wives from among their kindred. Not no Indian or no Mexican, huh? Or no Chinese. See that? And were blessed in their children, and their prosperity will possess the land. Now, my boy, love your kindred. See that? You can come up with all kind of bullshit excuses of how they acting or what we doing, but look what he tell us. Now, my boy, love your kindred and do not disdain your brethren and the sons of your daughters, the sons and daughters of your people, and refuse to marry and refuse to marry one of them. You can't do it. It's a sin, right? For such disdain leads to ruins and great distress, and worthlessness brings loss and great want. Ain't that where we at? The wages of any man who works you must not be retained overnight. So here you go, right here. This is the part I want to deal with. You must not retain overnight, but you must pay him immediately. So look at all the work we done. They ain't paid us yet. So you got Negroes talking about this, that, and another. It's coming right here. For such disdain leads to ruins and great distress. Worthlessness brings loss and great want. For a man who works for you, you must not retain overnight, but you must pay him immediately. If you serve God, you will be rewarded. Take care, my boy, in all that you do. So you say retribution coming. It's coming. Okay. Where you at, 18?
Chapter 4, verse 18. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ask advice of every wise man, and do not think lightly of any useful advice. Always bless the Lord God, and ask him to make your ways straight, and your paths and plans prosper. For no heathen nation possesses understanding. But the Lord gives all good things, and he humbles whoever he pleases as he chooses. Now, my boy, remember my commands. Do not let them be blotted from your mind. And now I must inform you of the 10 talents of silver that I deposited with Gabal, son of Gabaris, in Regi in Midia. Do not be afraid, my boy, because we have become poor. You are well off. If you fear God and refrain from any sin and do what is pleasing in his sight. Then Tobias answered and said to him, Father, I will do all that you have commanded me, but how can I get the money when I do not know him? So he gave him the receipt and said to him, Seek out a man to go with you, and I will pay him wages as long as I live. So go and get the money. And he went to look for a man and found Raphael, who was an angel, though Tobias did not know it. And he said to him, Can I go with you to Regi in Midia? And do you know that region? And the angel said to him, I will go with you, for I know the way, and I have stayed with our brother Gabal. And Tobias said to him, Wait for me, and I will tell my father. And he said to him, Go, and do not delay. And he went in and said to his father, Here I have found a man who will go with me. And he said, Call him to me so that I may find out what tribe he belongs to, and whether he is a reliable man to go with you. So he called him, and he came in, and they greeted each other. And Tobit said to him, Brother, to what tribe and to what family do you belong? Inform me. And he said to him, Are you in search of a tribe and family, or a hired man to go with your son? And Tobit said to him, I only want to learn your connections and your name, brother. And he said, I am Azariah, the son of Hananiah, the older one of your kinsmen. And he said to him, Welcome, brother. Do not be angry with me for trying to learn your tribe and your family. You are a kinsman of mine, and come of a fine good lineage. For I came know Hannah and Jathan,
You know. I came to know.
for I came to know, I'm sorry, Hannah and Jathan, the son of Shemaiah, the older, when we used to travel to Jerusalem together to worship and offer our firstborn cattle and the tenths of our produce, for they did not go astray when our brothers did. You come of a fine stock, brother, but tell me what wages I am to give you. A drachma, a day, and your expenses and my sons. And I will add to your wages besides, if you come back safe and sound. So they agreed on these terms. And he said to Tobias, get ready for the journey and farewell. So his son made his preparations for the journey, and his father said to him, go with this man and go who lives in heaven. And God, sorry, who lives in heaven will prosper your journey, and let his angel go with you. And they both went out to start, and the boy's dog followed. And his mother Hannah wept, and she said to Tobit, why have you sent our child away? Is he not our walking stick when he goes in and out before us? Do not let money be added to money, but let it be as dirt in comparison with our child. For while the Lord lets us live, that is enough for us. And Tobit said to her, do not be troubled, my sister. He will come back safe and sound, and your eyes will see him. For a good angel will go with him, and he will have a prosperous journey and will come back safe and sound. So she stopped crying, and they went on their way and came towards evening to the river Tigris, and there they spent the night. And the boy went to wash himself, and a fish jumped out of the river and would have swallowed the boy. But the angel said to him, take hold of the fish. And the boy seized the fish and threw it up on the land. And the angel said to him, cut the fish up and take his heart and liver and gall and keep them safe. And the boy did as the angel told him, and they cooked the fish and ate it. And they both traveled on until they drew near Ecbatana. And the boy said to the angel, brother Azra, what are the liver and heart and gall of the fish good for? And he said to him, as for the heart and the liver, if anyone is troubled with a demon or an evil spirit, you must make a smoke of them before the man or the woman, and they will be troubled no more. And as for the gall, if you rub it on a man who has white films over his eyes, he will be cured. When they approached Regi, the angel said to the boy, brother, we will stop today in Raguel, for he is your relative. He has an only daughter named Sarah. I'm going to tell him to give her to you in marriage, for you have a right to have her, for you are her only relative, and she is beautiful and sensible. Now, if you will listen to me, I will speak to her father, and when we come back from Regi, we will perform the marriage. For I know that by the law of Moses, Raguel cannot marry her to anyone else under pain of death. For it is your right and no one else's to possess her. Then the
Okay, let's
voice,
stop right there. Let's stop right there. So notice what you just read. When it started out, some stuff I want to shine a light on. So let's go back to the story. And so when I read this back in the day, some of the stuff you was thinking that was far fetched. But okay, let's look at. Remember when Moses was a little boy? He took the crown off of the Pharaoh's head.
Right.
What did the Lord host do? Came in amongst them like one of them, right? He shapeshift,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Then he calls Moses to take that coal instead of getting that crown because he's gonna get killed. So ain't the same thing happening right here? And my point is this: he started out, he told Tobias to go get a man to go with him, and then he went and got Raphael, not known as Raphael, right? And then he said he came back Then Tobit, you know,
Want to know what family he from?
yeah, I was trying to get a word for that. He examined him. He examined him, questioned him, right? And he told him, he gave him a name of some people he knew and the older son, right? But check this out. Look right here. It says, so he wouldn't know all the stuff he's saying right here. Check it out. It says, I'm in chapter 5 and verse 7. So now they in Ibanica, I think Ibanica, and they at Ragu's house. And look what he said. Now this Raphael, but he's posing as this man to help him Tobias. So it says, as for the heart and the liver, if any of it is trouble, or if anyone is troubled with a demon or evil spirit, you must make a smoke of them before the man or the woman, and they will be troubled no more. And as for the gall, go to JC. That's what the soldier gave him. If you rub it on the man who has white film on his eyes, he will be cured. And then say, when they approach Ragu, here you go. Watch this. Now this don't sound like no regular man that he picked out. Says, and when they approach Ragu, the angel said to the boy, brother, we will stop today with Ragu, for he is your relative. See, you know all this, right? But Tobias ain't peeping game on it. He says, we will stop here today with Ragu. He is your relative. He has an only daughter. Look at all this. He has an only daughter named Sarah. I am going to tell him. See, he taking over. See that? But he just a man. He's supposed to be just the dude that Tobias found to help him. But right all of a sudden now he's taking over. Look. And then how you know all this? So he says, let me get down here. He says, and he has an only daughter named Sarah. I am going to tell, look, the angel, this man, I am going to tell him to give her to you for marriage. Right? If he just some Negro you just found, he ain't got no business. He ain't on business. See that? Look at this. So he says, he is your relative. He has an only daughter named Sarah. I am going to tell him to give her to you in marriage. Well, you have a right to have her, for you are her only relative, and she is a beautiful and sensible. So now, if you will listen to me, see that he took over. I will speak unto your her father, and when we come back from Regel, he will perform the marriage. So this reminds me of what the brother was saying when we was trying to explain to him who the Lord of hosts was, and he said, "Ain't no angel." Why is he talking like that? Well, why this Negro talking like this? This is a damn angel. He took over because if you go back, remember when both of them, when Toby was praying about his eyes, and the girl was praying about the demons killing all her husbands, it was given to Ragu to fix it. I mean, Raphael, give it Raphael. See that? So now he's taking over right there. Yeah, I just want to shine light on that.
Christian marriage and Catholic structure.
It said, Shalom. May I say, because Raphael is a protector and a healer, when he mentions what the heart and the parts of the fish was, because he knows how to heal things, and he knows but the smoke of the heart is protector, so he knows how to warn away the demons by, him asking why we kept these items and with the film on it. So because of his duties as a healer and a protector, he's able to, answer those questions or give them the directions. Yes, sir.
Right. And another thing, I don't know if anybody is peeping this out, but you can see Christianity, the underlays of Christianity, how Christianity came about, because you see how we was dealing with charity and all that. That's the same thing they dealing with over there with JC. Even this story right here about the fish. The fish tied to Christianity also. So you got to look at, so like I said, Christianity came from when they got hold of our records, and they started going through our records. That's how Christianity came about. And just like we was talking about earlier with them having the information in the Vatican, it's a very small number of people have it. It ain't like it's a whole bunch of the whole thousands of people got that. It's a very few small group of people, like the Most High said, Esau is small in number. It's a very small group of people got access to that information and understand that's been passed down to them. And that very information that they possess is how they ruling, keeping the rest of the population, and especially us as Israelites, as God's people, ignorant to our culture and who we are and all that stuff. They hide it, suppressing it. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The book of Tobit, chapter 6, verse 13. Then the boy said to the angel, Brother Azariah, I have heard that this girl has been given in marriage to 7 husbands, and they all perished in the bridal chamber. Now I am my father's only child, and I am afraid that if I go in, I will die like the others, for a demon is in love with her, and he harms only those who approach her. So I am afraid that I would die and bring my father's and my mother's life to the grave in sorrow over me. And they have no other son to bury them. And the
Okay,
angels,
hold on right there. 1 minute, Jack. I got to deal with this. So, you just read. You said, Brother Azariah, I have heard that this girl have been given in marriage to 7 husbands. Do that ring a bell for anybody?
The lady at the well? No, I'm sorry.
There you go. There you go. The way that the well Jesus talked to. There it is. Okay, go ahead.
And the angel said to him, Don't you remember the commands your father gave you about your taking a wife from your own relatives? Now you must listen to me, brother, for she must be your wife. And don't be concerned about the demon, for she will be given to you tonight to be your wife. And when you go into the bridal chamber, you must take some of the ashes of the incense and put on them some of the heart and the liver of the fish and make a smoke, and the demon will smell it and will flee and never come back. And when you go up to her, and when you go up to her, you must both rise up and cry out to the merciful God, and he will save you and have mercy on you. Have no fear, for she was destined for you from the beginning, and you will save her, and she will go home with you. And I suppose you will have children by her. When Tobias heard this, he loved her, and he became deeply attached to her. When they arrived at Ecbatana, they went to the house of Raguel, and Sarah met them and welcomed them, and they greeted her. And she took them into the house. And Raguel said to Etna, his wife, How much this young man resembles my cousin Tobit. And Raguel asked them, Where are you from, brothers? And they said to him, We belong to the sons of Naphtali who are in captivity in Nineveh. And he said to them, Do you know our kinsman Tobit? And they said, We do. And he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is alive and well. And Tobias said, He is my father. Then Raguel sprang up and kissed him, and he wept and blessed him, and said to him, You are the son of that fine good man. And
Right
when
there.
he
Hold on right there. Hold on right there. So, what did that remind you of? What you just read, the story you just read. And just didn't the same thing happen when Jacob fled? When Abraham sent his
Right,
servant to go get a wife for Rebecca?
Yes, sir.
right, right. Same thing.
Right.
But so let's look at this way, right? So ain't that what we would say to one another who ain't seen each other? Don't we have what other culture has family reunions?
Right. Exactly.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's the same thing. Saying, "Oh, you my cousin now." You know what
Right.
I mean? That's us all day.
Right. And then another thing too, that it started to dawn on me. I went back and was reading this again. Did not in the book of Enoch, the Most High sent Michael and Raphael and gave them to bind the 200 angels?
Right.
Well, we see right here. Raphael was sent to bind this demon.
So that's what I was going to ask earlier, Leonard. Right. I was
Right.
going to ask this a little bit. I didn't want to interrupt the scripture. So this is a perfect understanding of when it says the angel of the Lord came. You see
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Perfect example of it right here. We're watching it in
Right.
action. The angel of the Lord. So you better believe Michael is the one who told this angel to do what he's doing.
Right. He sent him. Exactly. Right. Where you was
Verse 7,
Okay.
where it says, "You are the son of that fine good man." And when
Okay.
he heard that Tobit had lost his eyesight, he was grieved and wept. And his wife Etna and his daughter Sarah wept too. And they welcomed them warmly. And they slaughtered a ram from the flock and set food before them in abundance. Then Tobiah said to Raphael, "Brother Azariah, speak about the things you talked of on our journey, and let that matter be settled." So he communicated the matter to Raguel, and Raguel said to Tobias, "Eat, drink, and be merry, for you have the right to take my child. But I must reveal the truth to you. I have given my child to 7 husbands, and whenever they approached her, they died the same night. Still, for the present, be merry." And Tobias said, "I will eat nothing here until you make a binding agreement with me to do this." Then Raguel said, "Take her at once. According to the ordinance, you are her relative, and she belongs to you, and the merciful God will give you the greatest prosperity." And he called his daughter Sarah, and he took her by the hand and gave her to Tobias to be his wife, and said, "Here, take her according to the law of Moses, and take her back to your father." And he gave them his blessings. And he called in Etna his wife, and he took a scroll and wrote an agreement, and they put their seals to it. Then they began to eat. Then Raguel called Etna his wife aside and said to her, "My sister, get the other bedchamber ready and take her into it." And she did as he told her, and took her into it. And she wept, and she let her daughter weep on her shoulder. And she said to her, "Courage, my child. The Lord of heaven and earth show you favor instead of this grief of yours. Courage, my daughter." When they had finished supper, they took Tobias into her. And as he went, he remembered what Raphael had said, and took the ashes of the incense, and put the heart and the liver of the fish on them, and made a smoke. And when the demon smelled the smoke, he fled to the farthest parts of Upper Egypt, and the angel bound him there. When they were both shut in together, Tobias got up from the bed and said, "Get up, my sister, and let us pray that the Lord will have mercy upon us." And he began to say, "Blessed are you, God of our forefathers, and blessed be your holy and glorious name forever. Let the heavens and all your creation bless you. You made Adam and gave him his wife Eve as a helper and support, and from them came the human race. You said, 'It is not good that the man should be alone. Let us make him a helper like himself.' Now, Lord, it is not because of lust that I take my sister here, but in truth. Have mercy on me and let me grow old with her." And he said, "Amen," with him, and they both slept all night. And
Right.
Raguel,
Let's read that again. So he says, that's big. He said, it is good that man should not be alone. Let us make him a helper like himself. Now, this is Tobias talking to the Lord. Now, Lord, it is not because of lust. That's big, ain't it? It is not because of
yes,
lust
sir.
that I take her for take my sister here, but in truth. Come on now. Go ahead.
All praises, yes. And Raguel got up and went and dug a grave, for he said, perhaps he will die too. Then Raguel went into his house and said to his wife Etna, send one of the maids and let them see whether he is alive. And if he is not, let us bury him without letting anyone know. And the maid opened the door and went in and found them both asleep. And she came out and told them that he was alive. Then Raguel blessed God and said, blessed are you, O God, with every pure and holy blessing. Let your saints and all your creations bless you, and let all your angels and your chosen people bless you forever. You are blessed because you have had mercy on two only children. Lord, show them mercy. Grant that they may live to the end in health with gladness and mercy. Then he ordered his servants to fill up the grave, and he made them a marriage feast that lasted 14 days. And Raguel swore to him before the days of the marriage feast were over that he must not leave until the 14 days of the marriage feast were past. And then he should take half of Raguel's property and return in safety to his father. The rest, he said, will be yours when I and my wife die. And Tobias called Raphael and said to him, Brother Azariah, take with you a servant and two camels and go.
We're gonna stop right there at 9 because
Yeah,
how
take
many
that.
chapters? How many chapters is it? 14 chapters.
14, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll read 9 to 14 tomorrow. But so we go back and anybody have any questions or comments about some of the things we read so far in this in TOBIT? One of the things I'm just shining the light on it is that uh, when the guy asks, I'm just asking the question when Tobit when Tobias went and got the man to go with him, we know it was Raphael. And when Raphael talked to Tobit, he asked him who he was. Is that a lie?
He lied right to his face.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying about writing the Bible to get the meat out of it. And
Right.
then,
But
and then
no, but
go ahead.
also think about that. So people will say that though. So this is how
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
it is, because according to the
right,
Ten Commandments, it says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness."
right,
You know what
exactly,
I'm saying? So
right,
that's something that people need to pay attention to. Bearing
right,
false witness is wickedness. But if I'm gonna say something, then you eventually gonna know the truth too, because
right,
that's what eventually happens.
right,
So he was no different than Gabriel in dealing with. It's no different from an angel saying, "Why you asking me my name?"
right,
You see what I'm saying? So
right, right. And then just right at the end of that, when Tobias finally went into the bedchamber and he consummated the marriage, right? So she just sent the handmaid in there. You get where I'm going?
I'm gonna say the only thing I got from him was when he sent the handmaid in there. He was like, "Go find out if that nigga dead."
Right. But I'm saying is when you go back to our culture, remember what he had to. It's a man standing outside the bedchamber. He a witness because they have to take that white, the cloth in there because he got
Right.
to take off identity. And so he goes in and get the white cloth from the male, and the male give it to him. He comes out and gives it to the father. So right here they saying she sent the woman in there. It's just me. That's just me because
I'm with
all the
you.
stuff in my head.
Yes,
I'm with
sir.
you. I'm with you on that. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Shalom, because she has already been wed 7 times prior, that I believe the cloth was not to be, needed, but the
Shalom.
No,
man.
no,
Shalom.
no,
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 sis.
it
no.
never consummated.
It was this. It
All
was
the other
this.
stuff never consummated the
They were
relationship.
killed before.
Right. They never touched the woman. They
Oh,
never
she
touched
still
her.
was. Oh, okay.
Right,
Yeah, they died
right,
before they could touch her.
Right.
right,
Right.
right.
Okay.
That's why she didn't want to go in there. Right. That's why she
Yes.
didn't want to go in there. Yeah. So yeah. So like I was saying before, there's a lot of stuff after years of I always dealt with Toby, but I seen a lot of stuff in it that didn't kind of you know didn't sound right, but a lot of it making a lot more sense now because like I said, he sent Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael them to bind the 200 angels. So right here, Raphael was sent to bind uh this wicked spirit.
So
And
Leonard,
go ahead.
so a question, right? So this is a situation where these in this book of Tobit would be like, yo, they doing a cleanup job instead of, you know what I mean? Like, say for instance, when we went into Jericho, it was a cleanup job, and even in this little situation with this wicked angel right here, it was still another cleanup job, but it was done through Israel real smooth, the way it was
Right,
done.
right,
You know, that's how I looked at. I always looked at it that way as well. You know,
right,
that this is real smooth how we gonna clean it up, because it's like you was breaking down the other day that ain't a fly gonna return to the shit,
right.
and this is
Exactly.
exactly how they're moving. So the moment they see the fly swatter come, they gone. But
Right.
if you could figure out how to maneuver in a certain way to catch them, then that's how you do it.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's smooth.
Right. Exactly. And then like I said before, you can see the inner workings of how they starting to formulate Christianity too. Like when you read this. Oh yeah.
Quick question on that though. Also another question. When it came to that time, I don't know how many people find it funny, because I always found it funny, is that they already had the grave dug for Tobias.
Right. Exactly.
And when they found out that he made it, they was like, hurry up and fill up that goddamn grave.
Right. Exactly. Right. And didn't Toby tell him from look what Toby was doing. He was taking dead Israelites and burying them rather than leaving their bodies laying out in the open, right?
Right.
He told him the things you do, you're gonna reap the benefits later. So what he done, he reaped the benefit for his son.
Yeah.
Huh?
His son made it. And that's what
Oh
I
yeah.
always found funny, because Regale was like, oh, this brother ain't gonna make it. Let's go ahead and dig this grave early. So let
Exactly.
me set her in there and find out the nigga's still alive. He is.
Oh
Hurry
yeah.
up and fill up that grave.
Right. And another example there too is about that statement about be careful who you deal with because you never know you could be entertaining an angel. And the whole time that's what they was doing, entertaining an angel.
It's
Yes, sir.
that brings you right to what's that? Genesis 18 right there.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Ain't that something? Oh yeah. So anybody else got anything they want to shine a light on before we'll read 9 through 14 and close out to Toby tomorrow for our reading to the tonight. Just call it part 2. Anybody else have anything they want to add to that or anything they want to bring up?
Yeah,
Shine a light on?
just one other thing. Yeah, the part that was interesting is when they did gut the fish, and they took the innards out of the fish. That there's a small scripture right there that said, because I got it on my phone. I ain't got the book, where it says that they did eat, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So the scripture, right? That's always the biggest part, is that it said that him and Raphael and Tobias ate. So yeah, so we'll read it tomorrow though, I guess.
Right.
Break
Right.
it down.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Yeah. Well, I want to shine lights on something right quick. It was I'm thinking it's in the apocrypha that The 3 bodyguards. What is it? Ain't this in Apocrypha? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
3 bodyguards.
Yeah, you remember the 3 bodyguards? Zerubbabel was one of them, and they had a contest.
Okay.
They had a contest. I don't remember what it was at. I thought it was in Apocrypha. Anyway, that was Zerubbabel. So my point is, you notice right here in the story of Tobias how they going back and forth. Some of them, they in Assyria, but you got some of them, the righteous ones, pious ones. They was going from Assyria back to Jerusalem, back to Judah, keeping the feast days with them. And then you had some going to read in Persia, because like I said, you had some in the 10 tribes that was over there with Esther and Mordecai and them. Then you had some that was with over in Assyria. So we see right here, Tobias had to go to Ibanica, Media. So my point was this: when you go back to the story of the 3 bodyguards when they was competing for to win the prize, and Zerubbabel won it, and then the king asked him, "What do he want for reward?" And he said that to keep his promise to send them back to Jerusalem. Then not understanding Zerubbabel is seed of David, so Zerubbabel said he wanted to go back to Jerusalem, but he said he kept a feast after Zerubbabel won the contest, and the proclamation went out. That's the one in Daniel 9:25. Zerubbabel kept they feasted for 6 days, kept a Shabbat. Then he went to Media. That always stuck out in my head. Now it make all the sense in the world. So he was in one place, but once he got that commandment, he said he went to his brethren in Media. Yeah, check that out. I'm gonna find that when I get off here.
So what's that might be in Ezra 1.
Yeah, for chapter 3.
Ezra, right? Ezra. Where is it?
Chapter 3.
Yes, sir.
First
That's the Apocrypha though, Sister Michelle, right? Not just the original Ezra.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
First Ezra.
Yes, sir. Around verse 4, then the 3 young men of his bodyguard who kept guard over the person said to one another.
What chapter?
Chapter 3, sir.
Chapter 3. Let me get it. Yeah, okay, there it is. It says, so I'm in verse 45 after he had won. Verse 43, after Zerubbabel had won, it says, then he said the king, remember the vow. Zerubbabel told the king, remember the vow that you made the day that you succeeded your throne. This is Darius. He came on the throne after Cyrus, right? And he says, rebuild that you will rebuild Jerusalem. That's the prophecy, Daniel 9:25. Rebuild Jerusalem and send back all the dishes taken from Jerusalem, which Cyrus set aside when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send back there. And you vowed to rebuild the house which the Edomites burned when Jerusalem had been laid waste by the Chaldeans. So now, my Lord, the king, this is what I ask and request of you. And this is the princely liberality to come from you. I beg you to carry out the vow that you vowed in your own lips to the King of heaven that you would carry out. Then here you go. Then Darius the king got up, kissed him, and wrote letters for him to all the managers and the magistrates and officers and governors to escort him in safety with all who were going up with him to rebuild Jerusalem. And he wrote letters to all the magistrates in Syria, Phoenicia, and to those in Lebanon to bring cedar timber from Lebanon to Jerusalem, that they should help him to rebuild the city. And he wrote in the interest of all the Jews who were going up from his kingdom to Judah to secure the freedom that no noble or governor or magistrate or manager should forcibly enter their doors, and that all the country which they were to occupy, they should possess free from tribute, and that the Edomites should give up the Jewish villages which they had controlled, and that 20 talents a year should be given for the rebuilding of the temple until it was completed, and 10 talents a year besides to provide burnt offerings to be offered daily upon the altar in accordance with the commandment that had to be offered. 17, and that all who come up from Babylon to rebuild the city should have their freedom and their children and all the priests who came up. He wrote providing their expenses also and the priestly vestments in which they officiate. And he wrote that the Levites express expenses should be provided until the day when the house should be finished and Jerusalem rebuilt. And he wrote that lots of land and wages should be given to all who guarded the city. And he sent back all the dishes from Babylon with which Cyrus had set aside, and all that Cyrus had ordered or done, he commanded them to do, and he sent back to Jerusalem. And when the young men went out, here you go. It's Zerubbabel right here. That's what I'm talking about. When the young man, Zerubbabel, went out, he lifted up his face toward heaven, toward Jerusalem, praised the King of heaven, saying, from you comes victory, from you comes wisdom, to you belongs glory. I am your servant. Blessed are you who have given me wisdom. I praise you, Lord, for my Lord of my forefathers. Now here you go. And he took the letters and he went to Babylon. See that? So he same thing with Tobias and them doing. So, but they don't tell you that. But anyway, let me get it back. The page flipped off. That's what it said. And he took the letters and went to Babylon, and he reported it to all his brethren, and they blessed the God of their fathers because he had given them relief and liberty to go up to rebuild Jerusalem and the temple. So where he received the commandment from Darius was in a whole different place. He stayed there for 6 days, kept the Shabbat, then of the feast, and then left and went to Babylon and told the rest of it. So they moving all around that whole region. So like I'm saying before, they wasn't lost. Wasn't no lost tribe, nowhere, nobody. They knew where they was at. It was bullshit. Okay?
Right.
Everybody good? Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying. So even though Darius put the proclamation out, because that was what it was all about, that Zerubbabel went to go get the folk, and
Yeah.
because I would think, like, before we get off, right, you would think like that's politicking at its best. So
Right.
even if Cyrus had made the decree, Darius fulfilled it, then the people that was gonna go to handle this business, knowing that we were spread out through all 170 something provinces, you were
Exactly.
still gonna have to show that the king and the high priest was there for y'all to say, I'm gonna go back and do this. So you
Exactly.
gotta go on a pilgrimage amongst all these provinces to get the people together to come back.
Exactly. Right. And so they wasn't lost because Darius once he commandment came forth that they had been waiting on because Daniel was sitting there looking at the books. So they was and he wasn't the only one looking at the book. So when the prophecy came forth, then he went where they was at. They wasn't lost. Wasn't nobody lost. They knew where everybody was at. Right. That was my point. Yeah. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, we'll pick up on the other half of this tomorrow. Shalom. Shalom and another shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.